Hi everybody, welcome to The Kitchen Noob, the channel where I cook recipes that I find on food blogs, cookbooks, and from my favorite celebrity chefs. Now, I have no professional experience as a chef or formal training, but what I do have is a passion for cooking and years of trial and error in my own kitchen. Tonight's recipe comes from Ramsay in 10. I got this book for Christmas, and it's based on his YouTube channel where he was attempting to make recipes in 10 minutes. I'm making a butternut squash and chicken curry, and I certainly can't do that in 10 minutes. I'm at least gonna attempt to make it good, so we'll see where that goes. This is a great book. I'm not like pushing it or anything like that, but I will have a link to it below in Amazon where you can buy it. What I like about it is fast and quick recipes, but it's not stuff like grilled cheese or basic hamburger. There's some really excellent, almost restaurant style, well, I would say restaurant quality recipes in here. So now, before I get started making this curry tonight, I would ask that you subscribe to the YouTube channel and share this video with all your friends and family on your favorite social media. Now let's go make some curry. So I don't know how Gordon Ramsay does it, but it definitely took me longer than 10 minutes just to set up my prep here, which I think, behind the scenes, all that stuff. Anyway, so here's our ingredients. I've got the stuff laid out for our curry part of the dish. We have a butternut squash. I'm gonna shred it on the coarse side of the shredder here. We have a red onion. I'm also gonna shred that on the coarse side of the shredder. We've got a serrano chili. It's gonna add a little heat to the dish. I am going to deseed this, and I'll show you how to do that. I've got a cup of coconut milk, and this is a new ingredient for me, and I learned something new about it today. So when I poured it out, it was chunky, and that was a little disconcerting because, well, chunky milk. But apparently, so if you don't know, if you're not familiar with this ingredient, it kind of does that because of the different consistencies of fats that are in the coconut milk. It does tend to kind of clump. So it's not spoiled, it's just something that naturally occurs. We got our ginger, check it out. We've used these before, the awesome frozen little ginger cubes. Nice little portions there. I think these are 1 teaspoon each if I recall. Yeah. I'm gonna use sea salt today instead of pink Himalayan salt. Just feeling different. Cup of diced tomatoes that we're gonna add. Here's our broth. I don't know how much of this we're gonna use, so I just poured a bunch in here. Here's our peas, frozen peas. I've already chopped up my chicken. I watched Gordon Ramsay's video and he had big chunks. I decided to dice a little finer just to make sure the chicken gets cooked thoroughly. And then lastly, I think the last thing we're gonna put in the dish tonight is gonna be the spinach. So here's about a cup. We'll see, whatever. All right, so let's do a little prep. I'm gonna shred my butternut squash. I had to take the seeds out. I used a little bit more than half just because I want a little bit more butternut squash in there. And let's go at it. We're gonna land this on a paper plate. I know that's fancy, but whatever. So let's see. 10 minutes of me shredding. So my arms are tired after shredding all this. That's about a half a squash, I'd say. While I'm letting my arms rest, I'm going to show you how to do this serrano pepper here. So to be honest, I don't really know. I'm just going to trim this off. Nice sharp knife there. Being sarcastic. Let's cut it in half the long way. And let's scrape these seeds out. The seeds are where the heat is, so. Well, just be careful. And we don't want that bit, so we're gonna try to take that out too. There we go. There. There's a little bit there too. There we go. So there's that. Nice spicy stuff on my hands, so if I touch my eyes, I'll probably go blind. Scrape that spicy bit out. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to chop this in pretty large pieces, like large enough to see. That way whoever's eating it, if they want to dodge these pieces. Boy, I've got a nice sharp paring knife here. If they want to avoid these pieces, they can. But it'll still heat up the rest of the dish, so that'll be good. So nice ambient heat there. All right, next, onion. We're going straight for it. We're not even gonna bother cleaning our thing here. And by the way, to do this, I would use a bigger grater because that was murder. It wasn't on camera, but that took me like, I don't know, 45 minutes. And I'm probably gonna be crying in the next scene. Definitely gonna be crying in the next scene. Okay, so this is the result of this, and that's not working for me. That's just mush. I don't want that. I don't want mush. So I thought of something better. I have a better tool in my kitchen for just such an occasion. I've already used it to shred up a little bit of left of the butternut squash that I had. Nice shreds there. So we're gonna do the same with the onions. And I don't need this bit. So we're gonna take that off. And then I am going to chop this. Careful not to cut that electrical cord right there. Just into pieces that'll fit down the little chute here. Real simple. We should get some nice shredded onions. Oh, this, see, I always, whenever I'm manipulating this thing, I always leave it unplugged until I'm actually ready to start using it. And I make sure it's, you know, buttoned up, because I'd hate to lose skin or, you know, fingers. That would suck. So here we go, we're ready. Here's our little pusher thing. I'm just gonna load up our chamber. And I have it set, if you flip the blade over, it does slices, but I have it set so that it shreds. You gotta watch out for that cupboard there. All right, here we go. We're just gonna pulse lightly. Look at that. It's still a little small for my liking, but it's better than it was. It's not juice. Maybe if I push down and force it through a little faster, it'll go better. I've got some pieces in the top too, but that's okay. That's it. Unplug. For safety, open up. All right, I've got a bowl here. I'm gonna save all this because this is all gonna cook down anyway, and it's mostly water. So we're gonna save those little chunky bits there. Bit of a mess, but that's okay. There's a little hole here you can grab to pull that out, and then just be careful with the blades. That is sharp. That is dishwasher safe. Now, if you look, there's not, yeah, it's hit my eyes. There's not a lot in here, but yeah. Woo. Anyway, it's affecting Jen over there, my camera lady. So along with the curry, we're gonna make this flatbread that goes along with it. And it looks really simple, so we're gonna give it a shot. We wanna make this, we wanna put this together because it has to rest for about 10-15 minutes before we can cook it. It needs to relax. So before we get started cooking all this mess, we're gonna do our bread here. So it's a cup of flour. This is AP unbleached flour. We get he says a glug of olive oil. So we're gonna put a glug of olive oil in here. I guess that's a glug. And then we're gonna put some salt in it. That looks good. And then we put a half a cup, what? Then we put half a cup of water in it. That's all it is. And then I think we just kind of fold it and make a nice dough out of it. And if I put too much liquid in it, we can always put more flour in it. And if there's not enough liquid in it, we can always add a little more water or a little more olive oil. This is kind of sticky dough. I like it. It's kind of shaggy. Zoinks? That wasn't a good shaggy. So this is gonna rest. I don't know how well you're supposed to incorporate all this. I wonder if you leave it kind of messy like this. No? What? What do you think? More flour?
No, he put it into a ball.
How did he do? Oh yeah,
He took it out like you would normally make a dough ball.
Okay.
Just sprinkled a little
Oh,
flour.
you know, I forgot. Okay, there it is.
He made it into a little ball.
Yeah, it's very sticky, and I don't think it's supposed to be that sticky.
Not quite like that.
Yeah, I think I need more flour.
No.
It's very soft.
He rolled it
Like pizza dough?
kind of. That's what he
A little more.
did. That. Holy.
Well, it'll absorb. Yeah.
He just did that, and then he put it.
It is. It's very soft.
Well, it's flatbread. It's supposed to be. And then he put it back in the bowl.
Kind of like a jellyfish. And then you just kind of flatten it out. So I usually, like with pizza dough, I'll do this on the cutting board, but since it's so soft, I can actually do it in my hand. And it's kind of backwards than what I'm used to. There we go. That'll work. All right, that rests for about 15 minutes. Let's get cooking our stuff. All right, so our pan's heated up. I used coconut oil. It says to use vegetable oil in the recipe, but I use coconut oil in the spirit of coconut milk. I figured the flavors would be the same or whatever. Our pan's heated up. We're good to go. I'm gonna start. We got all of our ingredients lined up in order. We're gonna start, careful of splatter, with our butternut squash. Add that to the pan. And I'm gonna do my best to make a mess while I'm going along here. That's a lot of squash. That ended up being a lot of squash. We just get that in there, add a little salt. We're doing sea salt tonight, just to be different. I'm not gonna go too heavy on it because I'm not overly familiar with the strength of it. I'm gonna let this cook a minute or 2 or 3. Let it cook down a little bit. And then we're gonna add our onions. I had to travel far and wide to find this spice blend of garam masala. I guess that's how it's pronounced, garam masala, garam masala, I don't know. But it's a spice blend. I could have made it, but you know. It's got coriander, black pepper, cumin, cardamom. I'm not really sure what cardamom is. Cinnamon. Now, I did see, when I finally did find it, I did see a couple of brands of it at the grocery store. And this one looked a little bit more appealing. The other one had primarily cumin in it, which we also call that, in our house we call it Jenbane, because Jen hates cumin. I won't tell you how she describes it, but it's unkempt, the way she describes it. It's, yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It's not worth repeating. Anyway, so yeah, garam masala. We're gonna put, the recipe calls for 2.5 teaspoons, but guess what? That's close to a tablespoon, so we're just gonna throw a tablespoon in there. For flavor. And this is how we measure in this household.
That was more than a tablespoon. That has Jenbane in it.
So it's time to add our onions. Here's our onions. It's a little messy, but you know, what is. So we're gonna cook this for about 1 or 2 minutes before we add our ginger. I spilled something down my front. I always do. Can't have a nice t-shirt. So this is cooked for about 1 or 2 minutes, and the onion is softening up, and it's starting to incorporate into our butternut squash. Nice flavor. We're gonna add our heat. We're gonna add our chili that we chopped up coarsely. Stir that up nicely. Just get that in there. So the recipe calls for a 1-inch piece of fresh ginger peeled and grated. Now I have these little bits here, and that's about 1/2 inch, 1/2 square inch, 1/2 cubic inch.
2.
So let's do 2 of them. It might be a little strong, but I do like ginger, so that's not a problem. And hopefully I can get this out of here.
Smoosh it from the other side.
Yeah, that's not working. Okay. Not very clean. Let's stir this up, get this ginger in there and going. It's all on my spatula. Let's flip this a little bit because I have a feeling it's browning on the bottom. Yep. Okay, now it's time for our chicken. This is important. I'm glad our pan is this hot because I want our chicken to cook thoroughly. We're gonna create a well in the middle of this, just like that. And here's our chicken, and we're just gonna dump that right in there. There we go. Let that cook for a minute. And here's the part where we also need to salt it too. We need to salt our chicken, flavor it. There we go. Let's throw a little black pepper in there too. Right? There we go. All right, let's stir up our chicken, incorporate it into our butternut squash. We lost a little heat in the pan when we added the chicken, so we're just gonna give this a few minutes and let it recover. We also needed to add our spice. So let's get that going. Okay, we're gonna add our peas. Stir them in. Now Gordon Ramsay did all this in 10 minutes. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a lot longer than 10 minutes. Like a lot longer. But I'm not in a hurry. I'm not trying to do a challenge or something. I just want to make this food. I've never made a curry before, so let's see how it goes. Now, we're gonna add our liquids. Let's add our liquids. Here goes our tomato first. We're gonna do our coconut milk next. See what I mean by chunky? I was talking about how chunky that was earlier. It looks like cottage cheese almost. It's like curdled. And I'm gonna spoon some of this out because I want that nice liquid. I did taste this earlier. I thought it was gonna be sweet, but it wasn't. I guess most coconut that we eat in the West is pre-sweetened, like flaked coconut or shredded coconut is pre-sweetened. I will tell you right now that Jen is looking at this and looking at the color of it and the mishmash of it and saying, what the hell, I'm not eating that. But I bet you this is gonna be delicious.
It looks like a dog's dinner.
It does. Well, let's see. And then we want a little broth too. I'm gonna put a little more liquid than what we think just because I'm taking a little more time than Gordon Ramsay takes to cook this, and I don't want it to be like all dried out and fried onto the bottom of the thing. So we'll give this plenty of time. Plenty of time. Now, I'm also gonna start this burner here because I am gonna start making those flatbreads. So we wanna put our burner on. Let's go medium high, medium high. Time for our bread. I cut our big dough with this thing. And we're supposed to make 4 of these little guys. I guess I don't need this anymore. And I've got an overkill rolling pin. Tell you what, let's move this over this way. And so we flatten these out. I think, oh, wow, okay. Yeah. All right, that's bit number 1. Forgot about this part. It's been a while since I've done any real baking and stuff, you know? By the way, our curry is on a nice simmer. We're gonna roll this out. I think we're gonna try to flatten this by hand as much as we can. There, much better, much better. It's still sticking a little. I think I may have not used enough flour when I made this dough. It's possible. I know
Did you salt your pan?
My pan is getting very hot.
Did you salt it?
Not yet. Okay, we got one down. Let's go. Okay, salt in the pan. And then a little drizzle of olive oil. Let's make sure that doesn't splatter. There we go. What? And then Into the bin.
I think that's too. Okay, it's too thick, babe, and too much oil. I think.
So we're looking for that to bubble up. In the meantime, I'm gonna roll up my other ones. Did you get that on film?
I did.
Awesome.
The tongs are in the sink. They're in the clean side of the sink.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Doughy stuff, not my thing. Alright, let's get that one out of there. Let's go with this one next. This one doesn't look too bad. Let's get some of that flour off it. I think that's what was burning. There we go. That's a little better. I think my dough is too wet. I think that's what the problem was here. My dough is just too wet from the start. Maybe my glug was a little bit bigger than what a British glug is. Maybe they used the metric glug and not the imperial glug. And that, we can turn that off, I think. I want to taste it. Okay.
It might need salt or something. You don't know.
It's pretty hot. I can't eat this thing.
No, I get your spoon. I'll get your spoon. No, I'm getting a spoon. See? I'm getting a spoon. I'm getting a spoon.
This is a mess. This is just a mess.
Here.
Oh my god. This is like molten lava, you know, with all the butternut squash in it. Like, it's not gonna be cool for like 10 minutes. I got a big old chunk of, I don't know what that is. This is not pretty. This is not a pretty video. This is not a pretty outcome to this whole thing here. I was hoping to have a little more decorum than this whole spiel. But, I mean, this is why I'm doing it, because like this is what real people go through when they try to cook this kind of shit. This is what happens. And we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see how it tastes. It might taste good. I don't know. It's really good. It's sweet. It's not spicy. Maybe a little salt. Let me put a little salt in there. Trying to kill me. It's very sweet. It's very good. It's got a good flavor to it. The chicken is tender. What else can I describe it? It's got that spice to it, which I like.
This is not edible.
That garam masala.
This is not edible.
Yeah, I think these things aren't working.
Well, it's a shame. That was going to be the thing I was looking forward to.
I should have bought some naan as a
backup.
as an escape plan.
Well, we do have.
I don't know what's going on with my rolling pin, but everything wants to stick to it. Just do it. There, now. These are extra crunchy, aren't they? Crispy leaves. So okay, so here we are. We've got our curry finally done. It's our chicken and butternut squash curry. And we've got some of the roti flatbread here. Didn't turn out as good as, you know, it should, because that's not my expertise. Well, I mean, I don't really have an expertise, but you know. We got our last one cooking here. Hopefully this one will turn out the best. And maybe we'll get some good photographs out of it. But I did taste that. It tastes very good. I added some salt to it just to bring it out a little bit more. It was very sweet. It had that nice garam masala flavor to it. Like it had the nice, like the cumin and the cinnamon and the cardamom. It had all those nice flavors in it. It wasn't spicy at all, so I was pleasantly surprised by that. I was thinking, you know, when you think of curry, you think of, oh my god, it's spicy, it's gonna kill you, you know, tongue on fire. No, that didn't happen. So, it's quite good, and I can't wait to dig into this and watch some ghost adventures. Okay, so there we have it. Tonight's curry wasn't a total disaster. The curry itself was fantastic. It was delicious. But I did have a little problem with the bread. I think what it was, I put a little too much olive oil in the dough mixture, and also maybe a little too much water. I used a dry measuring cup, and I think they work out the same, but I'm not really sure. I haven't really tried. But I ran out of liquid measuring cups, so I just like, oh, a half a cup, and here, let's just throw it in there. My dough was very wet, and I think it needed to be dry a little bit more. It was too springy when I was trying to roll it out, and it just didn't hit the pan quite right. It's not terrible. It tastes pretty good. It's edible. I'd call it edible. But I had a lot of fun with it, and Jen's telling me to never make curry again because the whole house smells like spice, which I kind of like, but you know, it doesn't help the resale value of the house. That was Halifax squeaking her toy down there. And so anyway, I hope you had fun watching tonight, and I hope you could give this recipe a shot. It was definitely fun to make, and it was delicious. Check out the book if you want to. I'll put a link to Amazon below, so you can order that if you want to. But we'll see you next time on The Kitchen Noob. And remember, subscribe, share the video. Have fun. Bye.